Alright everybody, welcome to another one in the growing series. Today I want to talk about growing basil. Best soil conditions. Basil really likes a warm soil, and if you're planting it out, wait until the spring to warm the soil up a little bit. Basil seeds should sprout in about 5 to 10 days on the average. Basil plants tend to prefer a soil that is light and quick to drain. They really enjoy a lot of moisture, but they don't necessarily want to be stuck soaking in it for a long time. So as long as their roots can move freely, you're going to find you've got a nice productive basil plant. When you're planting your basil seeds in the spring, you're going to want to wait until the soil is warmed up a little bit. They don't really like cooler temperatures. And if you're transplanting seedlings from indoors, obviously you can start them whenever you want. But you're going to want to wait to transplant them out until nighttime temperatures are at least above 10 degrees Celsius on the average, because below that can do some very severe damage to these delicate little plants. As far as the best soil conditions for basil, in my personal experience, the best soil for basil is no soil at all. I grow it in my aquaponic system, and I have to say the results in there are absolutely phenomenal. This is what you can see beside me. This is one of the smallest of the basil plants that I had going this year, and its leaves are really quite phenomenal. The flavor is very intense, and I'm very happy to have tried it in the aquaponic system. Basically, whatever soil you can get in your garden, just make sure you've worked it first so the roots can move freely through it, and you'll find the basil plant does fairly well. When to plant your basil really depends on a variety of things. Most of them are environmental, of course. If you're starting your seedlings indoors, like I said, you can start them pretty much any time you want. If you're starting them outdoors, definitely wait until the soil is warmed up a little bit and your overnight temperatures are above 10 degrees. If you start them inside, when you transplant them out to your garden, you're going to want to make sure you give them at least 6 to 10 inches is kind of the moderate guesstimate that you'll get on a lot of websites. I'd say give your basil plants at least a foot if you're growing them in soil. These things can get up to 2 feet tall, and they'll really perform quite well for you given the right environment. They need a little bit of air circulation, and they really enjoy a nice warm air moving through their leaves. I find that the wind almost stimulates the growth in the plant. When to harvest your basil is pretty much up to the individual gardener. I don't feel it stores very well as a dried herb, so I tend to harvest mine when I'm about to use it. And I would take leaves, between that size and that size, and I'd toss these fresh into a salad. It's really a very enjoyable flavor. As a general rule, you're going to want to make sure you bring it down before it gets too late in the fall though, because they really can't deal with those colder temperatures of anything below 10 degrees Celsius. You're putting your plant in a severe risk zone. So it's better just to bring it down, figure out how you're going to store it. When you do bring down your basil plant before that cold temperature sets in, you're going to want to figure out how to store it. As I've already kind of suggested, in my experience, basil really loses something of the intensity of its flavor when you dry it. Unlike so many herbs that you can just take them, hang them upside down, let them dry, and they'll still really help to flavor your dish, basil just loses something of its essence done that way. So anything else you can figure out to try and store it long term, you're going to find better results from that. 3 of the most popular options for that would be to make it into a pesto, and you can keep it long term that way. Some people will freeze the leaves and then just cut up what they need to flavor their dishes from those, because it keeps a lot of its flavor that way. Or if you want to try something different, you can always layer them in a jar, put some olive oil in there or some grapeseed oil in there, and that will help preserve it. Just make sure you don't have any air bubbles in your leaves, or else you have the potential of having some mold grow in there. So there's just 3 options. Like I say, don't dry it if you've got any other way to go about it, and that's pretty much all there is to it. So thanks for watching another one in our growing series, and happy gardening. Have a great day.